Welcome to the Worship Keys podcast. My name is Carson Bruce. We talk all things music theory, gear, industry, and ministry for your worship keys playing. I'd like to thank Aerospace Audio for being a sponsor of this episode. They create unique, incredible, high-quality atmospheric drone pads to be used for your worship services, productions, songwriting sessions, whatever it may be. They have an analog, physical drone pedal that they call Atmosphere. There's actually a version 3 out. They also have a MIDI in capability, so you can work in tandem with Ableton Live or any other DAW that you have to be able to control everything through that ecosystem. Or if not the physical analog pedal, they also have an iOS app that you can run the pad straight from your iPhone or iPad. It's called AeroPads. Definitely check them out, aerospaceaudio.com. And let's get into today's episode. Guys, welcome back to the Worship Keys podcast. Today, I'm so excited to be talking with Daniel Dauwe. Daniel, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm excited about this.
You used to live in Nashville, and now you live in good old Leeds, Alabama.
Yeah, good old Alabama. Yeah.
And I used to live in Alabama, and now I live in Nashville.
Yeah.
So we just kind of like swapped places there.
So crazy.
And guys, we're so excited to talk all about sound design today. If you're curious on how to actually really level up your sound, there's some great resources that we're going to talk about today. And here on the podcast, man, my goal is to be a great resource for keys players, like just whatever that looks like: music theory, sound design, ministry encouragement, industry encouragement. And shout out to Church of the Highlands, Tyler Wester, Andrew Sharp.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Great guys.
You know, you came in contact with this podcast because of those connections. And guys, we're going to learn all about Daniel today, all about Soundshop. Who is Soundshop? What is Soundshop? I'm going to get like tongue-tied saying Soundshop.
That's the goal.
Soundshop. Saying it so fast. So Daniel, you're the owner and founder of Soundshop, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. What is Soundshop?
Yeah, it's a really cool platform. Yeah, kind of started when I was here in Nashville, had moved here, stopped touring, did everything you're not supposed to do. Moved to Nashville, deleted my social media account and stopped touring and started working at this great company called Worship Online, was doing their guitar tutorials. Man, I
love Worship Online.
And so fun, such a great resource. It was like a dream job for me to kind of get to still do music. But long story short, I came here, and then not long after COVID happened, all my buddies lost their jobs, and my wife and I just had our first baby. It was like 2 weeks before like everything shut down.
Man,
it was insane. Went from that to like I was just so like bummed. I was like, man, I was up late one night thinking like, man, that could have totally been me, on tour, out of a job, and then having a wife and a kid to provide for.
Sure.
So I was up late. I was thinking like, man, what could we do? Like, being a creative and an artist, like we were talking about earlier, like you have to have so many streams of income. It's like you're touring, you're teaching lessons, you're doing sync projects, you're maybe doing solo music, you're you're teaching lessons, you're some guys are selling presets, some aren't. So I was like, what if we made this cool site where it's really collaborative, where it's like it's not like us versus them. It's like, hey, let's all come together, sell our stuff in one spot. Yeah, and kind of giving guys like the highest quality like resources we can. Absolutely. Where it's like, hey, instead of buying a copy, you can buy like the tones like from the actual artist that was playing on your favorite record or whatever.
Yeah.
So we started that and started off with just 5 guys, and I think we have like close to 30, another like 15 or 20 like in queue to come on. So it's just been cool seeing it grow and seeing it just be like a really cool resource for the church.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you have people from Bethel. You have people from Passion City connections.
Yeah.
You have people from Church of the Highlands.
Yeah, it's all over. So we have Lauren Daigle, Need to Breathe, Brandon Lake, Phil Wickham, Bethel Elevation.
All the big names. Yeah. Right? Yes.
So it's been really cool and a fun way to kind of just kind of get to help. I just remember like that feeling when you're playing and like the tone just feels so good, and you're at church and you're playing and you don't have to like think about if it's going to sound good or if it's going to sound, it's like you can just confidently know it's like, hey, I'm going to sound great in the mix, and I've practiced my parts, I've done my diligence, and I can just like focus on worshiping the Lord. And it's like, it's such a, I don't know, it's a hard feeling to describe if you're not a musician, but like it's such like a fun feeling.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
And you're primarily a guitarist, is that right?
Yeah, I am.
Talk about your music journey. Just brief history for us.
Yeah. So I grew up playing guitar in church, a small church of like 50 people in Kentucky. and I was not good enough to play guitar at that church. So I played bass, and I started off playing piano as a kid. Our bass player moved to college, like, hey, you know something about music, play the bass.
Yeah.
So I played bass, but I always wanted to be a guitar player. And then went to college to play football, blew out my ACL, had surgery.
Oh man.
Didn't heal right. So I was kind of going sports route, and then went fully just like into music.
Wow.
And started playing a ton, and then transferred colleges and went to Oral Roberts University in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And then started doing like a ton of worship stuff there, which was so fun. So I did that, toured with them, and did some different things. And then my wife and I got married in college and moved to Wisconsin, and which was so fun. We had some friends that were starting a church plant up there, so we went to be the youth pastors. And then I met this guy named Jason Upton, who's a worship leader.
Oh my goodness! And, come on now.
Yeah, so great guy.
Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
Oh yeah. Come on. So it was so fun. They became like family to us. We were like their kids' youth pastors. We had youth group like at their house.
You know Jason Upton?
Yeah.
Man,
so
get out here,
he's
bro.
Great. So I toured with him for a couple years. I think it was like 3 years, and it's so fun. It's just like,
no way,
so cool seeing a guy like that. I didn't really know a lot about him before we moved up there, but met him and just saw like, man, like who he is like on stage when he's ministering or singing or preaching is like who he is at 4 a.m. when we're driving to the airport. I'm like barely awake, and he's like, oh, Daniel, let me just tell you about like what the Lord's doing. Like this dude is the real deal. He like just loves Jesus.
Yeah, come on.
So love them. Wonderful family.
How long were you connected with Jason Upton in person there in
Yeah.
Wisconsin?
So I toured with him for 3 years, and it was probably like a year. I probably met him like a year before I started touring with him.
And you played guitar with him?
Played guitar with him, yeah.
Amazing.
So it was so fun. We would do like a bunch of songs, but he would also like preach while. So
oh yeah,
I was essentially just like playing, and you never knew what the set was because he has 100 albums. So I would practice, all of his records, and it was just like the day of, you don't know what songs we're doing, what the set list is. So it's a lot of just like I'm so thankful that I've had lots of practice with ear training. It's just like, hey, I've actually never even heard this song before, but I'm going to like, me playing it live right now is the first time I'm playing it.
Yes.
But then like when he was preaching, he would hop off keys and he would go out and speak, and I would just like play like ambient stuff behind him the whole time. So kind of creating textures and sound beds, and then he would hop back in and kind of go back and forth. So fun.
That's incredible. I didn't know that about you. This is exciting. Okay.
So yeah, love them. We're actually going for back to Milwaukee this summer for his daughter's wedding. Which is so cool. Amazing. It's like we've known her since she was like in our youth group as a kid. Now she's getting married. She went to school here in Nashville. So incredible. Yeah, great family. But yeah, I did that for a while and just loved it. It's so fun.
Do you know Brian Zahn then?
I've never met Brian, but Jason talks about him like every day.
I know they're connected.
I've read a lot of his books. I love Brian Zahn, like Brad Jerzak and John Mark Comer. There's all those great guys. Yes. But
because Brian really challenges a lot of deep theological things.
Yeah.
That and you don't. People. You can read however many books you want to, and just because we mention one artist or one book or one thing doesn't mean we fully endorse everything.
Yes.
On the podcast here, but I'm just curious if you knew Brian's on because man, he has a great heart for the Lord too. So
he does. Yeah, I've read a lot of his books, and it's cool perspective.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I did that, and then I actually had a really cool opportunity to go back to ORU and play guitar for Bethel for like a Bethel music event, which was awesome. Super fun. So I was like, had been in Wisconsin for maybe like a year and a half, or maybe a little bit longer. I can't remember. I was playing for Jason for a little bit, and my friend I went to college with and played music with, and we did worship at ORU, was now like the assistant worship director for the college, and they had Bethel coming in to do a big like worship night, and they brought like most of their band, but they needed a guitar player. So he called me. He's like, hey dude, can you like fly back to play for this? And I was so nervous. I was like, just out of college. I have like at this time it was like kind of like the Michael Pope, Bobby Strand era of guitar players.
Yeah.
And I had learned all of their guitar parts and loved them. So it was this really cool thing where I had like 2 weeks to practice. So I was like learning. I had learned like all their songs, but I was like going through and just like making sure I was like super prepared.
Sure.
And I came across Michael Pope's website at the time. It was like Saint Pope, I think, .com or something. and I bought all of his presets. So I was like, I'm going to be like so prepared. So this was kind of like my dive into preset world. But long story short, I fly out to Tulsa. We're doing sound check, and I was so nervous. I was like, I've seen all of you guys in so many videos and listened to your stuff, and now like I'm getting to play with them. And the worship leader, like one of the worship leaders, like stopped during sound check and turned around to me. And I was like, oh God. And I was like, what's about to happen? He's like, where do we find this guy? And I was like, oh no. I was like, what have I done, Lord? And they're like, he sounds exactly like our guitarist. He's like, I would have thought we we brought our guy with us because like it's like the parts are the same, the tone's like identical. So I was like, whoa, this is I didn't tell them, but I was like, I sound the same because I bought all of Pope's presets. So that was like a really fun thing for me. I mean, I practiced so much, and it was like an awesome time, but it was like, I went from
Come to find out you weren't actually playing. It's just all the tracks.
Yeah, it was all AI.
It's AI, yeah.
No, but I just remember I was so nervous, and then that kind of like disarmed everything where I was like, oh man, like I have been playing guitar for forever. I like the tone is like locked in, and it was that thing where it's like everything was kind of in place, and I was able just to like, it was like a 2.5 hour set, and just like was able just to like enjoy it and worship the Lord. And we did songs that weren't on the set list that we just did, and it worked out great. Yeah. And had a fun time. And then they ended up doing another one like a year later. And one of the worship leaders that was there for this one. And like they like requested me to come out again to do it. So I got to fly back and play with them a second time.
Amazing.
And which was so fun. And I mean, it was great crew. Like they were like, after it was over, went like back to the hotel, and they prayed over. It was like me and one other guy that were playing with them, and like prayed over us and like prophesied over us and just like encouraged us. It was like a midnight. We had like just got out to eat and came back, and it's like cool seeing people who like you can easily, like when you're on tour and doing stuff, like you're tired, totally. Talking to people all the time, you just like want to go to sleep. But it was like, man, it's midnight, and you're like taking time to still pour into others. And I thought that was just like a really cool, just representation of like, and reminder of like why we're doing all of this. Like, absolutely, it's all about like the Lord and about people. But yeah, it's so funny. Like, so go back to full circle. So like now, like on Soundshop, we have those same presets that I bought from Pope, like on the site, which is awesome. Hilarious. So I reached out to Pope, and so we have, his like go-to kind of like delay and reverb presets, which I was using. And then like his exact presets for like 7 Bethel records were giving away for free. Man. So it was this hilarious thing where it's like, that's like what got me like really passionate about sound design. And like, I use that to kind of study how he was creating stuff, to learn like how to use a lot of gear when I was just young and fresh out of school. And then like coming back to full circle, and now I think he has like 14 preset packs on our site.
Man,
like for
loaded.
Yeah, so stuff that he's doing, like stuff that he's used in the past, or like stuff that he's doing with like Taya.
Yeah.
Or different bands. So it was like such a cool God moment, like looking back at like little young insecure Daniel, and who was so nervous and so scared, and looking back, it's like, oh man, like that was such a cool. Yeah, such a cool time.
I love that. Talk about that, because let's go back to that insecure part of your life. I think a lot of people who tune in to this podcast, whether on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, they might find this episode and might be in that place right now of being insecure. Or maybe you're a proficient musician, you're watching this, you just want to get some more tips and advice for sound design. But take us a little bit into the insecurity spots and into the world of sound design. When you started using other people's sounds, other people's presets, and maybe even adjusting your own, what was the thing that really brought you from being more of an insecure player to a more confident player? Yeah,
man, that's a great question. I think a big thing was like just growing up. Such as I grew up in a town of 1,000 people in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. Yeah, and my church was 50 people. And it was so small. And I was like, I mean, which is crazy. Like to this day, like the band at our church of 50 people is one of the best bands I've ever played with my whole life. I didn't know it when I was a kid.
Wow.
But they were like savant musicians. It was 3 brothers, and they were all insane.
They're locked, right?
Yeah. Could just like shred just like crazy. So I was like, I'll never be as good as them. So I always played bass, but I wanted to be a guitar player. So it was this thing of like, this feeling, which I feel like a lot of creatives have, because we oftentimes we attach our worth and our value to like what we can do. And which is like the opposite of the kingdom. It's like the kingdom is like, hey, there's a seat for you at the table. Come as you are. Like you matter as a person, not because of what you can do to help me climb the ladder or to help all these things that we think about. And that the world like really prioritizes. So it's this really cool thing of having that insecurity and just kind of like the Lord like helping reshape my heart to see like, oh man, like who I am and like what I bring to the table. Like I'm okay with the things that I'm not good at, and I'm okay with the things that I'm really good at. But at the same time, like knowing that you're still like loved by Christ, regardless of how fast you can play guitar or or all these different things. But the sound design part was really cool because it, I mean, I don't know, it's different for everybody, but especially for like worship guitar, it's like at certain stages in worship guitar history, there's like, hey, to play worship guitar, and this is a little bit in the keys world too, you have to have like this gear. I mean, bass players, you'll see like everybody has like this one certain DI, this one certain compressor, like this one certain synth pedal, like, and the keys player have like, you have your certain stuff for keys, some for synth and guitar. So I bought all this stuff because like that's what you're supposed to do. Had no clue how to use it. And you can't say that to anybody. You can't say like, they're like, whoa, you got like a mothership of a pedal board. And you're like, yeah, I saved up my money like waiting tables and bought all this. Like it costs more than my car does. I'm like in school, but I was like, yeah. And so I think it was really cool. Like when I got Pope's presets, I went through, and I'm like a very like nerdy analytical person where for me, like I would never like buy presets, load them up, and then just like never look at them. I like, it's cool, you can do that and it's very inspiring, but like for me, like I want to understand like a peek into their brain of like, oh man, this one reverb pedal has a billion knobs and sub parameters, and they tweaked everything. So I was like, okay, let me go in here and see like, oh wow, he has his tone so bright for this certain verb, for this type of, when you're doing this type of thing, but for this type of thing, it's crazy dark. And this one has a long tail. This one has a short tail, higher mix, lower mix. This one has a lot of modulation. This one has none. So you're kind of seeing like a peek inside of like a pro's brain that's been doing this forever and been doing this like at like the highest level. And you're able to see like, oh wow, I get it. Like when you're doing this like more chordal like rhythm stuff, you're doing this because if you use this other preset, it would be too much for the mix, or for your delays. Like there's there's so many things. So I started like really learning and diving into that. And then just getting like really inspired of like, oh my gosh, which was so cool. So I started doing that. And then when I got to Worship Online, I mean, I was recording guitars every day, all day. So it was like, I would get like the song I was doing for the day, never heard it before. So it's like, all right, today we're doing House of the Lord by Phil Wickham. And sometimes like I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely heard that song. I listened to it. But sometimes it's like, hey, I'm coming into a brand new song that was just released today. I've never heard it. I have to learn all the guitar parts, figure out their tones exactly, and then teach it like note for note and play it through without making any mistakes.
Right.
And so I was really thankful that I had been, it's cool. Like when you're going through life, you kind of see like how like the Lord prepares you for seasons, like before you get there.
Totally.
So it's like, I had done a lot of ear training before I played for Jason, and that was like so helpful. And then I had done a lot of sound design at home, and I had done some stuff with a buddy at a company called That Worship Sound.
Yeah. That's a great company.
Great buddy, Abel, who owns that. So I did some guitar sound design for him, and then got to Worship Online, where I was having to do like creating sounds every single day.
Wow.
And like recreating tones. So it's like, you're like listening to like the guitar parts for this song and like trying to figure out, oh man, that's like a really unique thing. Like, let me try to recreate that. So it was a different ear training of not just making sure the parts are right, but also getting the sounds right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Man, it's incredible. You've done a ton of work with incredible companies that Worship Sound, Worship Online, making a lot of presets yourself.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I didn't know you played with Jason Upton.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
amazing.
so fun. Did you ever see him at the ramp?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because you're talking about that.
When I was like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
When he used to lead there all the time, man. And it's great. And he always leads pretty much. I don't think I've ever seen him lead not from where when he's playing. He likes to play.
He's always playing.
He likes to lead from the keys. Yeah. And I love that. And I love following him on social media too, especially when he goes to his own piano, just songs from his own piano. Mm-hmm. But the recent albums that were more subdued, just more ambient, I would put those on during prayer meetings in college days and stuff like that. And speaking of sound design, I want to speak into this more because I think some keys players are not as passionate about sound design as guitarists are.
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably see that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like guitarists, worship guitarists, they're the one. It's like they have trademarked and copyrighted all of the sound design stuff. Like, we own this.
We own this phrase. Don't say it.
Do not, But so along these lines, I do want, from a guitarist, you are a guitarist perspective, and you do play some other instruments and some keys too, but you're primarily guitar world. Mm-hmm. And, from that perspective, I want you to help us keys players to talk about why is sound design important in general. And I'll say this again, I'll preface this again. I think sound design is a ministry. I think that if you are taking the time to make sure you're sounding as high as quality you can, that's being intentional. That's stewarding what God's gifted you with. And I think just like learning your scales, learning the chords, voicings, all those things, that's got to be fundamental. That's got to be basic.
Yep, that's your foundation.
You can't sound good if you can't play good.
Yep.
So
that is very true.
We're not disregarding that at all. You should play good you should play good on this upright piano before you try to,
so true.
Download Andrew Sharp's patches or whatever else.
Yeah.
But, with that, one of my past, and I'm going to get you to talk, so I don't want to take up all the airtime here, but one of my past podcast guests, Dewan Hill of the Choir Room, says CCM does with sound design what gospel does in chord progressions. And I think that's so important.
That's really interesting.
We talk about sound design, like we fill up this, there's something that's going to fill up the space. Yeah. Whatever it is. Whether that is just an ambient, there's delay and there's pads, and there's just this thickness to it. Yep. Like in the modern, more CCM world, we have such thickness and layers, layers upon
so
layers.
So many layers. So much reverb.
So much reverb, yes. Whereas maybe in the Southern gospel, like Gaither Vocal Band, or or the other church gospel with the organ going crazy, it is more about those fast chord changes. And talk about some fundamental stuff with sound design. Educate us a little bit, Daniel, into sound design. Like how do we know what's good quality, what's not? And once you define that, I know this is just a bunch of stuff I'm throwing at you. After you decide, define a little bit of why it's important, and then about how, actually, just talk about that. Why is it important in general? Why do we even need to care about it, man? Let's just start there.
Man, that's a great question. For me, it's part of the artistic expression. It's like you're saying, like you have to learn your scales, you have to learn your chords and your inversions, and you have to learn how to play in all the keys.
Yes. Yes.
But thank God for the transpose button.
That's right.
Sometimes. But no, those are such important things. But I'm just imagining, like, if you wanted to be like, if Jesus was here and you wanted to paint like a picture for Jesus, but you're like, I only have one type of brush and I'm only using the primary colors and that's it. You can make something really cool. And the Lord would love it. But it's like, man, I would love to, I'm kind of going back into like the nerding out like stuff. Like I want to make like really creative and really unique sounds and really just like beautiful art. And I feel like sound design, it's so funny. Like that was like one of my insecurities when I was young, is I can never like shred or play super fast, like especially when I was like younger. But I would get compliments like on my sound all the time. So I would play more simple stuff, I play like very melodically, but I would make it like really, really pretty. So it's like whatever, if I'm going to play this eighth note line, I'm going to make that eighth note line sound like the really cool, like as best as I can. And, but also like for me, like sound design is so fun because like I said, I'm mostly a guitar player. I play some keys and bass, but do not hire me for your keys gig. But I love finding a new sound, and it will change how I play. So like if I find like for when I'm producing or doing stuff at home, like if I find like one time I was using like Chris Worley's like key spray sets from Soundshop, and he has some really cool like Omnisphere synth stuff and some keyscape stuff, and it was just so inspiring. Like every patch I loaded up, you play differently. You're not going to hit your like 1-3-5 and hit it. You're going to like, for ones like you would only want to do something like melodically, like with something else, you're like wanting to play more like heavier inversions and move around more. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, man, like the sound you use will like bring so many new creative ideas especially when you're writing, when you're working on original music for your church or for your, or for bands, or when you're playing live, like, when you have the same, if I'm just using like a piano and pad, after a while, everything kind of starts to sound the same for you, but also like for the audience, where it's like people are there, and then you'll kick on some kind of modulated synth lead texture thing, and you're adding that with something else, and you're layering stuff, and then it creates this whole new moment where it almost like, I don't know, it's something fresh and something new. Yeah. And it's easy to kind of get caught in the monotonous of like, I'm just going to play this, which there's nothing wrong. Like I've met amazing keys players that will have, hey, this is my go-to piano, this is my go-to pad, and they will make it sound crazy good. Right. But even with those guys, a lot of them, you'll see like, hey, I'm not leaving if you're just using like a Nord or something, I'm not leaving my reverb like maxed out the whole time. Sure. Or I'm not leaving my compressor on the whole time, or I'm going to be changing some different things or adding something else in. So even like that in between songs, they're dialing back things. Totally. Depending on what you're playing. So for me, it's such an integral part to being a musician you have to have the foundations like we talked about. Mm-hmm. But if you have this like beautiful house and all you build is a foundation, you don't add anything else to it. It's just a foundation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like right. I can have all the technical knowledge in the world, but if I'm playing an out of tune piano, it's not going to sound very inspiring, but
and very distracting too.
Very distracting. But for me, it's like the sound design is kind of like the icing on the cake. Like it's not like I don't know. We have the foundation of your house, but like you start adding cool furniture, or you start adding like your mood lighting, or you start adding like your centerpiece piano, all these different things. Yeah. And together, like you have to have all of that to make a home. Yeah. And it's similar in sound design, like where you have to, as a musician, like you have to work on ear training, you have to work on the fundamentals, but the creating sounds, trying new sounds, is like, I don't know, it feels like next level, where it's like, that is like a crucial part of being like a well-rounded musician.
100%. Yeah. 100%. And we do have, if you're new here, this is your first episode, welcome to the Worship Keys podcast. But maybe you know this already, or again, this is your first time. We do have some episodes that feature David O. Ramirez, who is an incredible sound designer for the Keys world.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So good. And we have 3 episodes with him, by the way. So just scroll down if you want to after this episode and find those on YouTube. He goes over his go-to, his whole template. He shows us. So cool. We see a screen, and we didn't have time to just like go, channel strip by channel strip to know what he did, but he's just going over some go-to sounds that he uses. He's made his own, sounds out of those. Like he'll buy presets and then he'll shift it and save as and make his own patches. He talks about creativity. He talked about how when he grew up, he got one piece of gear, learned it, would sell it so that he could buy another piece of gear, learn that. And then, so like, you'd buy a Prophet, learn all that, and then buy a Juno, learn all that. And then once you have all that experience with all these different hardware synths or software synths, then as a producer, when you go to create something, that reminds me of something on the Juno. Yes. That reminds me of something on the Prophet. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, that we need a felt piano like the Nord has to offer. Like we need whatever you have to, And some of it is, oh my goodness, there's a piano in Nashville that sounds like this at whatever studio.
Yes.
And you're like, I need to go physically play that in that room for it to, there's just certain things that once with more experience and more time, you can kind of, but I love that the presets, like on Soundshop, you can literally download someone else's sounds that they've worked really hard to get and study those and then make your own. Talk about the importance of, although people can buy Andrew Sharp's sound packs on here, by the way, which on Soundshop, you guys can go. There are presets that are for sale for keys players. There's 16 available right now. There might be more, I guess, coming. And they're anywhere from $30 to $100. But Daniel is offering a discount code today. Yeah. And we will put that here on the show notes and description on YouTube so you guys can use that promo code 50% off for just this week only, by the way. So if you're watching this episode late, I'm so sorry. It's no longer working. But after then, it will be 20% off.
Yep.
So it's still 20% off even if you don't get it this week. But any of those sound packs that you like, maybe you like the way that Andrew's sounds, maybe the way you like the way that Todd Locke's sounds, whatever it may be, 50% off this week, which is insane.
Yeah. Go get them.
You said that you haven't given that off since like Black Friday.
Yeah, since Black Friday.
That's insane, man. So very generous of you, Daniel. Go grab those. But talk about the importance of having an original sound. Like I feel like in the worship world, we're so often copying so many people.
Yep.
What's your opinion on this?
Man, it's so good. Yeah. So I think it's so important. That's one of the things about being a creative and musician is learning the fundamentals of not just playing, but also sound design. Like you're saying, learn how to learn like the sounds you can get out of a Juno, out of a Prophet, out of your Nord, like all these things.
Yeah.
That is so, you have to learn like those base things.
Yeah.
But then like start experimenting and start trying new things and start finding, which is, I don't know, some of like my favorite records is when somebody will do something. I can think of like Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. Phenomenal record.
Yeah.
But she's like mixing like disco stuff with like this kind of folky thing, and it's kind of making something new.
Totally.
And so it's like kind of crossing over genres, creating some new sounds. And I think that's just like a really cool part of being a musician.
Yeah.
And it's just such an integral part of doing that. Totally just lost my train of thought.
No, you're totally good, man. You're totally good. And let's transition to church world for a minute.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of us live.
Yep.
Is this tension. Because being in Nashville, where we're recording right now, and you've lived in Nashville for a lot of times before moving to Alabama. You said your wife's from Alabama.
Yeah.
So, hey, there we go. Sweet home Alabama.
Sweet home Alabama.
But, Nashville's so creative, and there are so many producer mindsets in musicians in general. So like sound design is at the forefront. You almost lead with your sound and that makes you feel certain things.
Yeah.
And creatively, when you go to make a single or make an album or make even multi-track stems for your churches, you go to creative. But in the church world, we do play it safe a little bit.
We do.
Talk about that. Now you're on staff at a church.
I am. Yeah.
In Birmingham, right?
Yep, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your role and then talk about sound design within the church. Maybe some pet peeves that you have with church keys players and.
No, that's really good. Yeah. I was on staff at our church as like production and creative director. So doing all the live stream stuff and design, website, all kinds of great stuff.
Yes.
And I just in January switched over to like director of operations. So essentially like an executive pastor role where I'm kind of leading the staff and doing more strategy and operations, which is fun. Like it's another side that I like to do. But I also like MD and play guitar and do a lot of things. So that's a great question. I mean, there's two sides to every story and there's multiple sides of this fence, and some people will just die on one hill. And it's like, man, there's so much more to life than just picking one thing or the other. So the way I kind of always done things is when I'm playing a song, I will learn the guitar parts verbatim every time. And that's like, again, that's kind of like my foundation. So I start off like with like, hey, I'm going to learn every guitar part and I'm going to match their tones exactly.
Sure.
But then like from doing that for so many years, you build up this huge vocabulary of these cool parts and ways you can play, and then these cool sounds that you can make. And you can take that as an artist and use that as well. Absolutely. So when I'm playing at church, I will try to get the tones as close as I can to the records. And then, but I also will do new sounds. and do new creative things and do like our church is doing some original music, and I am like just making stuff from the ground that's just unique and creative and that sounds different. So I think there's a place for both. I think that you like my heart is like you always have to serve the song, and you have to serve like your worship leader and your church.
Totally.
So like if you are at a church and you guys are playing What a Beautiful Name, and you pull out like your 80s hair metal electric guitar and just start like ripping, you will end up on a TikTok somewhere. Yes. Don't do that. But like there are ways to so for me it's like I would not use that sound as a guitarist in that song. Like I'm not going rock and roll for some beautiful thing. Like you have to kind of match but not saying that there's not a place for that, or like that you can't worship the Lord. That to worship the Lord, you have to have a 10-second reverb and this one amp and this one guitar, or for keys guys, it's like you have to use this certain type of pad and this one piano, or you have to have a Nord.
Right.
It's like there is so much you can do, but a lot of times it's kind of just being honoring of your leadership to see like, hey, like, and I love trying stuff in practice. Like we'll be doing stuff and you'll try something and you can kind of, that's like, at least for in our church, in our context, like we have like a Thursday night rehearsal, and that's where we kind of like have working through transitions, and we'll also like work like with creatively or making the arrangements our own or doing different things. So we'll try stuff, and sometimes like we'll do something creative or unique, and sometimes it's like, oh, that's awesome, let's do that. Sometimes it's like, oh, that didn't land super well, like let's pocket that for later. So it's this balance of like honoring the leadership and kind of like saying like, hey, like I'm here to serve and here to help like you and the song. So like at the end of the day, I'm going to kind of like come in and be a blessing. And I also like it's really important, which I'm sure you've had guys talk about, but just listening to other people in the band. Like if everybody else is hitting 8th notes or 16th notes, I'm just like going to play diamonds and hit whole notes.
Absolutely.
Or like if everybody else is doing something busy, the piano player could just like hold out a chord. Yes. And what sound you use for that is really important too. Like if you're doing the gospel stuff and you're doing lots of chord changes, you don't want a huge reverb.
Right.
And that's, so kind of playing, it's so much of just listening. And I feel like the older you get and the more mature you get as a musician, the less you actually play and the more you listen to the rest of the band.
Wow.
So it's like, man, some of the best guys I know, they are playing at 20% of what they can actually do technically to serve the song or the band, or like, hey, I'm playing with this bass player and he's more inexperienced and he's doing all this crazy stuff. So even though I can do fast stuff on guitar, I'm going to play a little bit more simple, so that's not clashing with him. Totally. Because we can't talk about it. Like we're in the middle of a song. I can't go say like, hey bro, like let's figure something out. So it's kind of backing off. But yeah, with going back to the sound design part, I think it's so important to create your own sounds. And what happens is usually that we are it takes more work to create your own sounds, and it's vulnerable.
Yes.
So like we'll wait for elevation to do the new sounds or do something creative, and then it's okay, and then we'll all copy it.
Absolutely.
So it's like, well, because like, I mean, a lot of guys playing at churches, you are working during the week, you have a family, you have a full-time job, and you're just coming in to like try to serve and help.
Yes. So
sometimes guys don't have time to make new creative things.
Right.
But I think it's so important that we do. Like it's important. Like what would the church look like if every church in the world was using their musicians and was writing like original worship music for their congregation, like not trying to force, like if you're in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky, small town, everybody's listening to country music and you're trying to do like this really hyper synth pop. It's like, dude, that is like not your community. It's like,
yes, totally.
not saying like that song's wrong, but like, what if, like, how cool would it be if you guys did like a folk rendition of this cool song, or even like this popular Bethel song or Upper Room song or whatever. Yeah. But you kind of put your own creative twist on it. And like, that is so honoring to the Lord and honoring to your congregation.
Yes.
But so many times like we feel pressure, especially in today's world, where like, every live stream that you see has autotune. Every concert that you go to is using tracks, and they're using drum replacement. So everybody's got triggers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we live in such a polished world where everything's perfect. There is, I mean, everything from video to audio to everything. It's
everything, bro.
So a lot of, especially smaller churches, feel this pressure of like, oh man, I have to get our live stream sounding like Bethel's. It's like, Bethel has world-class musicians.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And then they also have like so much great gear and guys who knows how to use the gear.
Yes.
And like recently, it was so funny. We had a ministry was using our church, like just our building, like kind of for their conference, and Upper Room came and played for the worship, which was really cool. And they brought in their own sound guy. And a couple of our guys from our teams, like me, and then we actually had Wesley Winford from Highlands and another Highlands guy come and play with us. And then so it's kind of like hodgepodge, some Birmingham guys, hodgepodge, some Upper Room guys.
Yeah.
And played, and people at our church were like, "Oh my God, like it has never sounded this good ever in this room. Like, what did you guys do different?" And it's like, well, like we are playing with like world-class musicians, and they brought in a sound guy who has been running sound professionally for forever.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have that combination, like things will sound drastically different.
Yeah. Totally.
And it's like, it doesn't matter how much, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't matter like how much gear you buy and stuff.
Yes.
Like even for like piano, like how you hit the keys, how hard you're hitting, everything, all those little nuances, like those matter. And it affects your tone. For guitarists, like, I mean, guitarists freak out about like what pick are you using and like what string gauge and what all the things. What hand soap did you use? But it's like that stuff, yeah, it really plays a part. But kind of going back to, it's like that pressure is unrealistic. It's the pressure of trying to copy. It's like I'm driving my little Honda Civic trying to race a Ferrari and wondering like why I can't be as fast. It's like, man, just be thankful that you're getting some good gas mileage.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, yes.
So it's kind of like what works in the context of your community at your church.
Totally.
How can you serve your church? How can you serve your worship leader? And then like, man, get together with your worship team and don't just worship on Sundays or practice.
Yep.
Like get together at somebody's house and like write stuff together. Come up with like, say, hey, like we love doing the song in our church. Let's come up with a new arrangement that we've never done before.
Love it.
Let's figure out how to like mash these two songs up in a way that could be really creative. Let's find a new, some new melodies to play instead of like, I think of like What a Beautiful Name. There's always like that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star melody on the bridge.
Yes.
So it's like great melody, but it's like, man, what if we tried something new there? And so I think it's just so important that we allow ourselves to try new things and allow ourselves to break out of the box.
Yeah.
And allow ourselves to just kind of be like childlike again.
Yes.
Where it's like, man, I feel like as an adult, you're so scared of, most adults don't learn new skills or new things because I think we're uncomfortable with the feeling of being a beginner again. And there's that vulnerability of like, oh man, like for me personally, just being vulnerable, like I'm a phenomenal guitar player. I love playing guitar. I played for a long time.
Yes.
I've got so many opportunities to do great things. And I'm so thankful for that. I would love to become a good singer. It's like, but I'm like, that's something I've been struggling with is like when I was a kid, somebody told me that like, oh, you suck at this. And I was like, I stopped doing it, but I started picking up again. It's like, man, it's okay that I want to do this. And I'm like, I don't have the best tone in the world, or I don't have the best, like whatever pitch, or I can't do these runs or different things, but like, I want to do this and I'm going to allow myself to suck at something and to work through that and to persevere even when it's hard, even though like I'm really good at other things in music. It's like allowing yourself to be a beginner again. Man, and that kind of applies to your church too, of like, everybody's trying to be the next Elevation. Elevation's wonderful. They have great people. They're putting out some great music, but it's like, man, like what can you do with your church?
Absolutely.
To make, because at the end of the day, this is like all about the Lord. You know what I mean? And we're worshiping the Lord, and But it's so easy to get caught up in the comparison game, especially with social
100%.
media. And the Lord doesn't care about all that.
Totally.
He just wants your heart.
100%. I think what the biggest things that you've said right now to me has been when you said the older you get, the less you tend to play in the service in a full band context. I think that's interesting, and that's a good revelation I think a lot of people are making. Mr. Ralph Lofton, who's been on the podcast before, who's in his 70s, who has played organ for Aretha Franklin,
everybody,
Whitney Houston, the list goes on
forever.
What a great musician he is. And he is always preaching about placement and intentionality. And man, he's got some great chops. But I feel like when you're younger, I feel like you almost feel like you have something to prove.
You do, yeah.
So you're like, yeah, I can play this. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can play this. And then when the older you get, you're like, yeah, I could do that. But also, so can thousands of others.
Yeah.
And it's about that placement. And really, the restraint and the control is where you start leveling up, and then your sound design start leveling up. So I think that's crucial. I lied at the beginning. I said I was going to start with these sound designs, and I didn't start with playing these, but we are going to get to the section of actually letting you guys hear some incredible sounds. All right, guys. If I've got Logic pulled up here. I'm not going to share my screen. I know some of you guys want to see the screen for whatever reason. And now Nisbet, my cat just jumped in my lap. She just said it's time to come in your lap. But anyway, I got Logic pulled up here. You guys don't need to see this screen because there's really nothing to see in the channel strips or anything. I'm just going to play the demos of Todd Locke's presets on main stage. Tell us a little bit. Is there a story with Todd Locke?
Yeah,
and his sounds?
Todd is a great buddy that I met at church when we were living here in Nashville. Okay, he was the music director for Lauren Daigle and keys player, and then music director for Passion for years and years.
Yes.
He also does he has a project called The Future Reality where he does like ambient music. Yeah. So pretty, like beautiful stuff.
Incredible.
So these sounds, when he's playing with Daigle, he's doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
This collection is really cool because this is stuff that he used, some stuff for Daigle, some stuff for like just his own music. But it was just like, the dude's got all the gear, all the stuff, but he's like, man, you can get some really great sounds out of Logic and Mainstage. So he like challenged himself to like make the best stuff he could. But the funny part is like he has all the gear, but he still uses these stock presets on some of like the biggest stages around the world.
That's incredible. So he's proof that you really don't have to spend the high dollar stuff.
You just have to like just dig in there and like, but the cool thing about Todd and some of these guys is like they're not just like making it and saying like, oh yeah, that's good. They're getting it.
Yes.
And then they are testing it in studios and venues around the world, and they're constantly tweaking.
Yes.
And they're like, oh wow, like this felt great in my bedroom, but then once it got into context of the band, there was too much low end, or there was too much this, or there wasn't enough this.
Yes.
So it's been so cool, like seeing these guys, like how much they will tweak their sounds, and they're constantly tweaking to get them to where they can sound good in like just about any venue.
Absolutely. So if you guys go to soundshop.co /category/keys, but you just go to soundshop.co, you'll find the keys presets on here. I'm just going to kind of walk through these a little bit. Our guy, Andrew Sharp, he's been on the podcast. There's some presets of his, lots of different sounds. You got Contact stuff, Omnisphere 3, you got Keyscape, a lot of other, Zach Hanna on here. Come on now.
Michael and Cavo play for Forrest Frank.
Oh, amazing.
Super great guy. Got some of his presets.
Amazing. Got Eric Barfield.
Yeah, he played for Matthew West, a ton of different artists. Chris Worley. Dude, I have a funny story about Chris's presets. I'll have to share with you later.
Okay.
We can do it now if you want to. But the quick version is he was on tour. They were doing the Bethel Music Run, and he was out with Josh Baldwin.
Okay.
And their bus got broken into, and everything got stolen.
Oh no.
So his laptop, his hard drives, MIDI controller, it was horrible. And he called me. He's like, bro, like I don't have a backup of my, like all my backups of my Ableton session with all of my key stuff was on my hard drives. I don't have a backup.
Oh man.
We had just launched this stuff on Soundshop like a month before. Oh, wow. And he called me. He's like, dude, I'm so thankful that we did this because
he had a backup.
He's like, literally, we went and got a MacBook. We went and got a MIDI controller for the worship night that night. And he's like, and I went to Soundshop and I downloaded my own sounds. And it's like, so it's really cool because it's like, this is not like a recreation or like a fake copy. It's like, it's the exact stuff he uses. So it's like,
that's incredible.
He's like, I downloaded my own presets and I loaded them up to his computer and I had my exact like Ableton template with all my plugin set, everything.
That's amazing.
For the worship. So it's like a funny thing where he's like, bro, like this saved my butt.
That's convenient. That's so funny.
But they ended up getting like I think they ended up finding the gear and they got everything back. But it was just a cool thing where it was like,
that saved him, man.
It saved him. Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, you can literally have access to these incredible sounds here. Yeah, and then you even got John from Red Rocks.
Oh yeah, from Red Rocks. Yeah, he's got some synth based stuff.
I know he loves synth stuff.
He does. Yeah. He's a great guy, great musician.
He is great. So the reason why I want to go through Todd's, I do want to specifically play Todd's sounds here that he's made, because for one, a lot of these presets are in Omnisphere and Keyscape, which a lot of us keys players, we do have Omnisphere and Keyscape, but maybe you don't, and maybe you're more beginner and maybe you only have Mainstage, which is more affordable. Like you just have the stock Mainstage or Logic that came with your MacBook. So Todd just has like stock presets from, like you said, from Logic and Mainstage, who playing with Lauren Daigle. Yeah. And just play with Passion City. Yep. Funny story about this, Daniel, though. So I've met Todd. In fact,
way.
Not only have I met him, he gave me 3 piano lessons.
No way.
When I was literally 19 years old, and I'm 29 now.
Dude, that is incredible.
10 years ago, this is the story. And story time. Okay, story time with me on the Worship Keys podcast. So I worked Windshape camps out of Atlanta, Georgia. They're based out of Rome, Georgia. It's kind of affiliated with Chick-fil-A. Okay. They're summer camps.
Cool.
So I was a summer counselor for one summer, and then I was production director for 2 other summers.
Nice.
So that was me in college days. So when I was a camp counselor, we had staff training in Rome, Georgia, Mount Berry, Berry College. And at Berry College for their staff training, Passion City Worship came and led worship during staff training. It was incredible. If you've ever been to Berry College, it's just like a dream over there. And so Todd is the one on the keys during staff training.
So cool.
And there's like probably 500, 600, 700 of us college students who are there we're getting trained. We're getting ready to go all around the nation, even some international, to do summer camps, Windshape summer camps. And after one of the sessions, it was great, and I just loved the way like his pad sound and everything. Oh, yeah. So I just came up to the stage and talked to him. Hey, how's it going? And pretty chill guy, you know.
Oh, like one of the nicest humans I've ever met.
So nice.
He's so kind.
And I was like, man, I'd love to know like what you're using. And I mean, literally at the time, I had a MacBook and my Casio. It was a fully weighted Casio keyboard, like a Casio Privia, that didn't have really great sounds, but I started using Mainstage and Logic, and it was great. And then I would use my computer wherever I went, and if the church had a keyboard, I'd use that. Well, I asked him, I was like, you know, what are you using? What are you doing? And he briefly said, well, I'm using, you know, Mainstage and Logic stuff, nothing super fancy, and you know, this for pads, yada yada yada. And then I'm using the Nano controller, which a lot of people have used for years.
Oh, they're amazing, yeah.
So. And we didn't have that much time. Like I had to go to the next thing. So we had like 5 minutes. So he's like, man, this is what I use, the controller. Because I was like, what are you moving your faders for? He's like, oh yeah, it has these 8 channels, the 8 faders at the knobs. And he's like, anyway, he got me connected. He said, you know, I got his number. And he said, I'd love to give you some lessons if you want. Like I could walk through this a little more. So I did. So I found some brief time off over the summer and drove to his house. I think it was like an hour and a half away from wherever I was doing camp. Wow. And he just walked through what he does with his sound design. And just from those 3 lessons with him, which he probably doesn't even remember this, right? But I do, because it really shaped how I approached keys after this. Yeah. and his sounds were so incredible. And it was incredible because it was attainable for me at the moment too. It's not like, hey, go buy Omnisphere right now. Go buy Keyscape right now.
It's like a great next step.
It was a great next step.
Yep.
So honestly, I bought the Nano controller.
Yes.
And I had a good Logic template, a good main stage template. And I mean, literally as keys players, you could have 8 good patches and really do
so much. You can cover so much ground. Yeah.
So that's why I chose to show you guys not really show, but to let you guys hear Todd's presets here. So on Soundshop, you can see there's Logic and main stage keys presets. It's literally only $30, which is so affordable. But with the promo code this week, you can get it for only 15, half off, or 20% off after that. But that's what I'm going to play today is Todd Locke's presets. He probably made these a while back. But I'm going to tell you my favorite ones too. But there's probably a handful, probably like a dozen here or so. We're going to play through them. So this one is the Wonder Pad. Isn't that beautiful?
So good.
It's very peaceful. And this is the Emerald Grand. Now, if someone heard that, you might have thought, oh, that's definitely a Nord Stage 4.
Oh, yeah. It's like, nope, stock plugins.
Nope, stock plugins, y'all. This is a Rhodes. You see there's purposeful verb there.
Purposeful verb, a little nice melody.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Can never go wrong with some good Rhodes. Then we start getting into some synth ARP pulse world here. Fun stuff right there.
Super fun.
And you can layer that with a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love about MIDI too. This is cello staccato. Which a lot of keys players will play strings, especially when it comes to Christmas time.
Christmas time, producing, like so many cool things you can do with that.
Absolutely. Here's a lead line, a synth lead line. Crunchy distortion on there. With the leads, it's really important to use that mod wheel to open it up.
Filter, close it off. Yep.
It's so important. This is a hybrid bass string. Wow, what is that supposed to say? Brass. It says bass. Probably brass. That's a cool brass string. I like that. Beep City. I think I know what he was using in Logic for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, even got some percussion stuff in
yeah.
here. There are so many things like this in songs of worship songs that people don't even realize.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. When I was working at Worship Online, hearing all the individual stems when we're working on a song, there would be, for some songs you'd have 11 guitar parts. And you're
crazy.
Like, oh my gosh. And you'd hear 5 percussion tracks. And they'd have crazy stuff like that you don't, it's not super hot in the mix, but if you take it out, you feel it leave. It's really crazy. Like when you start looking at studying that stuff, how much layers are in songs.
It's insane, man. Here's a Juno. Speaking of Juno Pulse, which, by the way, this is stock Logic sounds, but meant to be, I guess, emulating more of the Juno here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. The cool stuff with that is that you can like add more reverb to that and make some really cool pads or some different things.
Totally. Because some of that, you know, being so dry would remind me of like the 90s worship songs, which throwback to, there's some great songs.
Some great throwbacks, yeah.
But you kind of have that Juno bright synth string type sound. But you could, always mellow it. I feel like it's gone, the tones have mellowed out and blurred so much. So washy.
So washy, yeah.
You know? Here's some tubular bells, which keys players love this, especially in the gospel world. Like at the downbeat of something big, like at the vamp or the bridge. I don't hear these a lot with the modern CCM stuff, but there's timpani crescendos. I won't play that, but this was my favorite one of the whole thing.
Which one is this one?
The slap.
Oh, yes.
Bro. I mean, listen to that, y'all. This is stock Logic. You would hear that and you wouldn't even necessarily know that was MIDI.
Yeah.
Sounds like a crunchy, distorted bass guitar. That was nice. Here's a clean B3, which I don't really prefer much of a clean B3.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be a little dirty, but that's in there. This is a Weird Rhodes delay piano, which is cool.
Yeah.
In a mix. Yeah, you'd have to, that's very niche, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Retro Punch Grand. I can hear this in like a praise the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Not this progression, but
Yeah.
it's more of like a minor techno sounding thing. But I could see that being used in a normal like 6-4-1-5 progression and open it up.
Open up the mod wheel, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing with a lot of these packs these guys will do is from what I've seen, like whatever instrument they're playing, every guy has like, hey, these are my like stock sounds that I'm using. Like for Todd, it's like most of the beginning stuff is like, that's kind of like your worship. And the bottom half of this is like, this is like something weird I did for like a record. And this is something that it's like the cherry on top of ice cream. It's like you don't want to eat like that whole jar of cherries. You'll get so sick.
Totally right.
I was like, just add this like little sprinkle like one time for a whole set or for a whole record. Don't like some of like the more creative sounds. Like please don't use that every song.
Right. Please do not do that.
Please don't.
You definitely overkill that. Like,
yes. Your worship leader will come talk to you and say, what are you doing?
Like maybe let's not do that. But let me know if you're on YouTube and you enjoyed those sounds. Let me know what was your favorite. Mine was that crunch bass because that was just golden right there. I love that. You guys can go download that at what's your name? Shop?
Yeah, soundshop.co.
Soundshop.co. You get lots of presets here. I might have to go buy a few more because these are all pretty cool. I definitely want to check out Zach Hanna's stuff.
Yeah, his stuff for Omnisphere 3 is really cool.
It's awesome.
Andrew just dropped his recently with his like full. So Andrew and
his whole bundle here.
His whole bundle, yeah. So Andrew and Chris Worley are right now the only two guys that have like their full complete keys bundle. And so what we've done is kind of like the bundle is like cheaper pricing. And then you have like, you can just kind of buy like, if I just want the Omnisphere presets, we have that available too, where you can kind of just piece it together. But those are so cool because like, I mean, when you hear like some of Andrew's stuff, you're like, oh wow, that's like such a cool sound. And then with Chris's stuff, you hear it, and you're like, oh wow, like I've heard that on a Bethel record before. That's like the sound for some of the stuff he's doing. So
it's amazing.
It's cool. Yeah. And all the stuff, like if you guys like those, Everything on the site has audio demos for every preset.
That's amazing. Yeah, a lot of Juno stuff here.
A lot of Juno stuff.
Moog, ARP. This is Andrew Sharp's stuff.
Yeah, this is Andrew's.
It's so cool. Get that hardware synth stuff at the Prophet. Big moment.
Yeah, so good.
Let's see. Oh, it's
nasty.
Get that analog warmth.
And that's like what I'm talking about. Like when you hear like that sound, it like makes you want to play a certain thing.
It
does. So that's my favorite part is like not being a keys player is like loading some of this stuff up on my MIDI controller at home. Even if I'm playing keys at church, and I will like just use so many like sounds just to like mix it up and have that just this cool, so many cool vibes. As keys players, you guys got it so good. You guys got so many cool sounds.
Right. Well, at least we don't have to go buy hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of pedals to make it happen. I do want to ask you. I hope y'all enjoying this episode, guys. Just talk about sound design. It's so amazing, and again, it goes back to that whole. It's not really a big debate, but that debate of hardware versus software.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why would you not? Just like you said, that story with Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunate event that the gear was stolen, and then he's able to just re-download this from your own site, his own presets.
It's so funny. Download his own presets. I was like, dude.
And he's able to go.
Yeah.
There's a story of Marcus Wiles. He was playing with Danny Goki, and they were playing at Red Rocks Amphitheater, and something happened to the back line, and he didn't have what he thought was going to be there.
Yeah.
And so therefore, his patches weren't going to be ready. But someone commented on one of the reels and was like, well, that goes to show you, like, if it was all just, if you had it all in your software anyway, you could have just plugged in your computer.
Yeah.
You shut up on a backpack, shut on your computer. Now, granted, there's always flaws with, or there could be flaws with certain computers, especially if you're outside in the summer heat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it goes back to why software is super important. You can literally play almost any sound that you could find to play. Yeah. You could emulate that with MIDI,
which is so cool,
which is amazing. People love the Nord and using it as a MIDI controller, which people hate to hear because they're like, why would you spend that
much money for a MIDI controller?
I know, but in most cases, sometimes a keys player already is a part of a church that already has a Nord.
Yes,
and I don't see any. I don't think it's super wrong to do the MIDI with the Nord because you like the key bed, and there's so many knobs.
There's so many
that you can combine so many sounds and the faders and
like when I was playing with Jason, he had a Nord for everything, and he had like his like Nord piano and his pad that he like loved, but he also was using it as a controller.
So
he was running like several. I want to say he had 12 channels of keys, which is insane.
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of guys like they'll use it and some guys like really love the Nord piano sounds. You can use that, but then also it's like, hey, but I want these really cool things that I have on my computer.
Yes.
So use it as a controller too. So you can, which is so cool. Like
100%.
What a great world we live in where you can, we have access to this. Like as a kid, I never imagined like, it was all about tube amps for guitar players.
Right.
It was like, you can have these certain tube amps and all this stuff. And now like I was talking to a buddy yesterday who's played for every artist under the sun. I mean, when we've been close friends for a long time, but when I added him to Soundshop, I was like, bro, you didn't like his list was like 60 artists. And I was like, wow. I didn't know you've played for everybody that's ever been a Christian and played music. But he's like, dude, I don't use amps at all for recording. He's like, when I was at a studio and I had these really expensive boutique amps, and he's like, and we were having some like weird buzzing. So I use my amp models, my Tonex or my Iridiums, and like it sounds awesome. So it's cool that like we're getting to a world where if you don't have money to buy like a Prophet and a Juno and all these different and all these different hardware synths, which are beautiful and are so inspiring to play.
Absolutely.
But especially going on tour, you can't take 1 million keyboards with you unless you're playing for somebody huge who has the biggest budget.
Of course, yes.
Bring that. But it's like, man, what a cool world where we can have this on our computer, take it anywhere, plug it up to any MIDI controller.
Totally.
And have world-class sounds in our bedroom.
Totally.
In headphones, at any venue. It's like, man, what a time to be alive as a musician.
I know, man.
It's like so cool.
It is absolutely incredible. And I see David O. Ramirez on these incredible videos, like with Essential Worship. And it's like, I'll try to zoom in and see what he's using. And he's just playing like an Arturia Keylab MIDI controller, like the 61 keys, not even fully weighted. And he's telling it sounds so angelic and amazing. And it's like, he's not playing on the Nord.
No,
now, sometimes, he is playing on the Nord, or if the Nord's provided or something. But he really just needs a good MIDI controller. And his right sounds. And that's good for him. I mean, and if someone who loves the Nord, they'll take their Nord and
do it.
They love it. Which it just goes to show you can really do a lot with software or any instrument that you're wanting to with sound design. So I hope this has been encouraging to you guys. And Daniel, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on. This is so fun.
Man, I hope you had a good time. And we'll have to have you on again. I mean, who knows? Maybe play a little bit of guitar, maybe do some key stuff. But I do want to ask you this as we wrap this up. What pet peeves do you have of worship keys players?
Ooh,
and don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Tell us.
I love you, worship keys players.
What is it that the worship guitarists are?
Oh, that's a great question.
What really? Because you're a pro guy, and you probably play with a lot of pro people, and that's great. But imagine a scenario where maybe you haven't always played with amazing musicians all around. What in the keys world has been a pet peeve?
I would say the biggest thing I would say for keys players, and again, I love all of you. It kind of goes back to that maturity thing, is the serving the song. And I feel like, everybody does it, but it's the noodling and the excessive playing and the stuff like that. It's like, I mean, guitarist noodles.
Can you do that again? No, I'm just kidding.
Just like that. Those are the exact notes. You can melodyne that later. But I mean, guitarists, we noodle all the time. Drummers noodle. So it's like everybody does it. But it's the when you're in a song and somebody, a keys player, stops listening to the band and is playing like their own thing. Which, I mean, as I said, everybody does it. But which is always so funny. So
that's a hard.
Listen to your bandmates.
Listen to your bandmate. I feel like as keys players, a lot of times, not all the time, but the keys player is often the one that knows a ton of theory. And they're very proficient. Whether they grew up playing classically and later learned modern stuff, but they just, I feel like a lot of time, not all the time, but they have incredible chops. And because of the way that the key bed is laid out, you can play so many notes so easily and cover so much frequency. So bass guitarists are a little agitated when they're hammering down there, heavy left hand. I know EG players, y'all are can get a little upset when we have outshined you guys if we have like some crazy synth stuff that goes through that where you're also getting your distortion and going through. But doubling is great too.
I'm actually a big fan of doubling.
Talk about that, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is sometimes like there's a song where you're starting off and there's a clear guitar line or a clear piano line. But a lot of times, like in a lot of bands I've played for, we'll actually like double on purpose. And it's a really cool thing. Like when you're like locked in, playing the same melody, it creates a really pretty thing. So I love that. Another hot take is you don't have to use all of your fingers and you don't have to play all the notes. So like, I think it's really important. I mean, I'm not a keys player, but like if you're playing, like left hand, if you're hitting like octaves or even just like the 1 and the 5 of a chord, and then your right hand, like you can just be playing like the third or be playing like a simple melody versus feeling like you have to always hit the full chord.
Totally.
Which goes back to listening. It's like, hey, if your bass player's hitting something down here and he's playing these quarter note, you don't have to also be hammering. You could, like, it'd be better for you to hold a whole note.
Totally.
And sit and let that sit there. Or like if electric guitar is doing something. I think it just comes back to everybody just listening to each other. And we're like realizing that we're all a part of like a team, and this is not like a individual sport, but we're trying to like work together. And if I hear you're playing, like if we're playing major 7th and you're playing the 7, I might hit like the 9 or something to add something a little bit different, but we're kind of like working together to play that major 9 chord.
Absolutely.
There's so much you can do, but I would say it's that listening piece, which is
absolutely
is so crucial, and which makes it fun too. And then I'm sure you've experienced this, but when you play with guys that are great and you've played with them for a long time, you'll like know what they're going to do.
You know what they're going to do.
Yeah. So you know, like they're going to drop out and hear something, or they're going to do something, or they're going to jump an octave, making room for somebody else who at that same time is going to go. They're kind of going to swap places a little bit.
100%.
Which is so. My
favorite thing is when you get into more of a spontaneous prophetic flow thing, where the song's kind of ended, but you're kind of seeing where we're going to go. And while the worship leader's trying to decide like what's going to happen, where it's going to go, you start playing a random other melody over that 4, 5, 6 progression. And like whether that is if the electric guitar starts it, then the keys player catches on.
That is my favorite.
That is my favorite too.
Whenever that happens, where it's like that spontaneous moment, somebody comes up with a new melody, and then somebody is listening, and does either they copy it or they do like a counter melody. It is like, for me, like that's like one of the most like magical moments in music, where it's like I don't know, as a musician, you feel like so alive in that moment. You're like, man, if this is like what worshiping the Lord for all eternity is going to feel like in heaven, like that one like little tiny feeling in that moment. It's like what a glorious place.
I love it. And on the counter side of that, sometimes I have been where there was a great melody going on, and then we were building momentum, and then all of a sudden, the guitar player or keys player, vice versa, will just stop playing what they were playing to do some other random thing.
Probably the guitar player. We're sorry. Forgive us.
And it's like once that's, it's like I've started to like support this, and all of a sudden he starts going and I'm like, oh, but no, sometimes it works because you're okay, now I'm like ad-libbing. But I'm like, man, we needed to keep driving this home a little more. But man, I agree with you. It's such an amazing thing, and we're all just trying to paint that picture. So
it's so true.
I love it, dude. Well, do you have any other last pieces of advice for worship musicians, worship players, worship leaders, churches, when it comes to sound design, man? Being the owner of Soundshop.co.
Thank you.
Himself, Daniel.
I would say final thoughts are which we talked about a lot earlier, but it's just let yourself create again. And it's okay to try new things. It's okay to do things that are not the status quo. And just get back to like playing music think about when you first started playing music and how fun it was and how it was just like joy, and like you're a kid just building something with the Legos. Get back to that and just have fun. Like music is such a gift from the Lord. It's such a beautiful thing. It's been doing music for the history of all mankind. And it never, like, there's always more to learn, always more to discover. And so just like dive into that creativity, allow yourself to just express yourself differently, and and go out to lunch with your bandmates.
That's good. Come on now.
And spend quality time together, especially if you guys are having like problems in the team, or there's tension, or you're frustrated because somebody's not playing how you'd like them to play, or you're not playing how you'd like them to play. Most of that can be resolved just by relationship.
That's great.
And getting together and just like sitting at a table together and having lunch or some coffee. So
that'll preach.
Don't overlook that. It's really important.
That'll preach right there.
Nothing to do with sound design, but
no, that's great, man. I love that. It's always comes back to relationship. I mean,
that's what it's all about.
Totally. And in closing with this episode, I do want to remind you guys, in past episodes, I shared my journey of making my own piano sample library. And I was telling Daniel before we started recording, I was a little hesitant to release this, especially here on the podcast. I know I host and talk to amazing sound designers such as Daniel here, and other people that are here on the site, Andrew Sharp and Todd Locke and everything. But I shared this sample library, which is completely free, by the way. It's still out there. You can grab it. It's just 10 patches that you can use in MainStage or Logic. And it's pretty simple. There's upright pianos. Some of them sound really brittle and old. So it's like you're just sitting down at this really old, brittle, I've felted and regular piano, so you guys can check that out. But if you're looking for something like really realistic upright piano sound, maybe check them out just for some fresh stuff. But also, my main purpose of this is to inspire you guys to go out and create. Maybe you are, you never know, we might have the next Andrew Sharp listening. We might have the next Todd Locke, or whoever else. We're all just doing what we can to serve the church and to serve other producers, other people. So maybe you actually have some great patches or you have some ideas. Go out there and do it. Go out there and create it. Like Daniel said, create your own sound, do your own thing. But maybe you're wanting to learn how to do something. If you guys want to know like how to do something, like how do I make my own template on Ableton or Omnisphere or whatever. We have episodes on Ableton and Omnisphere, walking through different presets and patches and how to navigate and go around. That has some really great tips there for setting up your Ableton session or main stage session. We have a few episodes on Logic Pro and making multi-tracks in Logic Pro.
Nice.
But if you guys, there's something we can teach here on the podcast or show you guys a tutorial on, or maybe bring someone in who has built out maybe we'll talk with Andrew some more about how he made these sounds, but maybe you are wanting to make some sounds and you want to know how to do that. Check those past episodes out because I mic'd up this piano right here and I sampled it. I actually sampled it one time and then started editing it and realized I need to go re-record again. Y'all, like the sample world is crazy. Like
it's intense.
Your mics have to be placed really nice, and you have to have good mic stands because you don't need that mics drooping because then you get phase throughout your sample. There's so many nuanced things that it very heavily audio theory things, but the pure sound, like if you love your piano that you play on in your living room or your grandparents' piano or whatever, just go mic it up, sample it. Good quality samples. Yeah. Good round robins. But I have some videos on that, on how to do that. And then you guys can use Isotope, denoise, and clean it up and all that stuff. Load it into Logic Pro Sampler plugin, or find a way and go down the Contact road as well. And you can literally take those samples and make a sample instrument or sample library out of your own sounds in your own living room. Because this piano right now in this living room is going to sound different than if you brought it on stage somewhere or in a gym somewhere. Yeah, so true. Like capturing that instrument in that moment, in that space and time, it's never going to be like that again. And depending on the mics you use and how you play it, like there's so many variables to how creative you can be. And so I just want to inspire, and like hopefully that inspires you guys to go make your own samples as well. So I wanted to leave you guys with that as well. So thank you to Daniel Dauwe of Soundshop.co, who has played electric guitar for Jason Upton for 3 years, which is crazy. I didn't know about, but lives in good old Alabama. But thank you guys for being a part of the Worship Keys podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, stick around. We have episodes that come out every single Wednesday. Usually I'm interviewing other keys players or sometimes solo episodes, and we'd love to teach, inform, inspire, but we hope to be a great resource for Worship Keys players. So thank you guys for being a part, and we'll see you next week.